Morning everyone, here's my outfit of the day. I don't know if I can get back far enough. Oh, you can't really see it. I've got those leggings on I got from, let me tilt you down a little bit, maybe you can see the leggings. The Nadine West that I got. Here they are. And then this top, it's got, I don't know if you can see it, it's got like lace all over the back. Definitely have to wear a black bra with it. But I thought this outfit was cute. And I'm going to tell you the witch's truths and witch's lies. Good morning, it's Wednesday morning. As promised, I have the answers to my 2 truths and a lie. Okay, well, number 1 was I bought parts for Army helicopters, I surfed, or I lived in Colorado. Answer is, I lived in Colorado. That was the lie. I've never lived there. I did buy I was a purchaser most of my life, and my last job before I went out on disability and then eventually retired was working for a company that it makes helicopters in both Europe and the United States, and I bought all the nuts and bolts and screws and things like that, and we built Army helicopters, so that was true. And when I was a teenager, I lived in San Diego, so I mean, I wasn't a surfer, but I have surfed. I guess that's the answer to that one. Number 2 was I worked in a company that repaired the first Apple computers. B, I don't eat gluten. Or C, I have 5 grandchildren. I did work in a company that repaired Apple computers way back when they were like 10 megabytes was a big computer. Now they're things like terabytes and things. So back then you had a clean room and you took them apart and you repaired them instead of just like tossing them and starting over like you do nowadays. They don't repair stuff very often anymore. It's just not worth the hassle. I don't eat gluten. I've been that way for about 3 years now, and I don't have celiac disease. I'm not like get really super sick. I just feel better if I don't eat gluten. It's kind of a pain sometimes, but you know, I'm tired all the time and I get sick real easy, and it's just not worth it if I eat gluten. So I don't eat gluten, and I don't eat a whole lot of dairy either. I can eat a little bit, but too much dairy gives me a stomach ache, so I don't eat a whole lot of desserts, because if you think about it, most desserts have either gluten in them or dairy in them or both. I do not have 5 grandchildren. I have 4 grandchildren, 3 girls and a boy. They are 18, 18, almost 15, almost 16 and almost 15. So they're all like teenagers. 2 are going off to college. Number 3, I have 6 donkeys. I was a summer intern at the San Diego Zoo. I was almost kidnapped but got away. Actually, the lie is I have 6 donkeys, because I have 5 donkeys, not 6. I have 2 mamas, 2 babies, and like a teenager-ish boy. I was a summer intern at the San Diego Zoo. That was the most fun. I was like 15 maybe, because I don't think I was driving yet. Maybe 16. And I would take the bus down to the zoo and got to go behind the scenes and feed the animals and clean up after them, and you know, go in and feed the snakes things and all that kind of crazy stuff. And then that was like the morning, and then since I was already there the afternoon, I could just spend the day walking around the zoo having fun and then take the bus home. I did that every Saturday for the whole summer. It wasn't paid or anything, but it was a lot of fun. And I was almost kidnapped but got away. I lived in this really bad part of Oakland, which is still not the greatest. I mean, the whole city of Oakland's not that great now, but the part I lived in was a really bad part of town. And this happened to most of the little girls at one time or another. There was just a lot of creeps around, and I was walking home from school. It was raining, and some guy pulls up and is like, "Come here, little girl, I'll give you a ride home. You don't want to get wet in the rain." And I just took off running and ran home. There was a lot of creepy guys out there. Number 4, I lived at Okinawa. My dad is 99, and I lost 100 pounds. I did live in Okinawa, but just for a few months. We lived in Japan for 4 years, and my husband got a TDY, which stands for temporary duty. He was in the Air Force, and he went to Okinawa for a few months, and so I went too. And at the time, Okinawa was still owned by the United States. We haven't given it back to Japan yet. This was back in the late 60s, 68, 69, somewhere in there. And they used American money, drove on the American side of the street. And they loved Americans. They didn't want to go back to Japan because the Japanese kind of treated them like we used to treat the blacks in the South in the 50s and 60s, kind of like second-class citizens. So Okinawa didn't really want to go back to Japan. I guess it's better now, but, back in the day, they weren't treated real well. What's the next one? Oh, my dad is 99. No, sorry to say, my dad died when he was 56, 57. 57. My mother died at 42, and my dad died, if he would have lived a few hours longer, it would have been 15 years to the day after my mother died. So he died at 57. He had, heart trouble and stuff. And I did lose 100 pounds. I used to weigh, my highest was 320, and I gradually, over a long time, 8 years maybe, lost 100 pounds. I'd lose a little, it stabilized for a while, lose a little, stabilize, and I got down to where I'd lost 100 pounds. I gained a little teeny bit of it back, but, well, I gained about 30 pounds of it back, but I've lost most of that back again, so I'm back to that 100-pound mark again. So that's that one. And the last one is, I've had 3 broken bones. I've had 8 surgeries. My mom died when I was 14. Well, I did not have 3 broken bones. The only thing I ever broke was I broke a toe. I was down in San Diego visiting my mother-in-law. I lived up in Northern California, and the kids and I, it was after I got divorced, the kids and I went down to visit my mother-in-law, and I slipped going into their pool, and they had like a thing you hold on to, like a railing thing, and the pool steps were kind of slimy, and I slipped and slammed my foot into the thing, the railing, and broke my toe. It was like, so I had to drive all the way home. Of course, it's on the right leg because I had to drive, 500 miles. So I had to drive all the way home with that broken toe, and we even went to Disneyland with it, and I was like, nobody step on me, please, nobody get too close, because how crowded those lines are and stuff. And we'd stop at a restaurant, come driving home, and I'd ask for some ice, and they thought it was for like an ice chest or something, and I'd stick my foot in the ice and try and make my toe feel better. I have had 8 surgeries. I know that sounds like a lot. I had a cesarean with my son, and then they discovered I had a liver tumor, so I had that removed, and then that caused a hernia, so then I had hernia surgery, and then years later I had a hysterectomy. I had 2 new knee replacements. I had this pancreatic pseudocyst that had to be removed, and I'm counting this as 1, but it could really be 2 because it happened in different weeks. I had cataract surgery. I had one eye done, and then a couple weeks later I had the other eye done. So I have had 8 surgeries. And my mom did die when I was 14. So the broken bone was the no one. Well, I hope this was fun for you. I enjoyed it. I hope you all decide to do it, and link if you decide to do a 2 Truths and a Lie video, link it below so we can go visit it. And I am going to, as soon as I do this, I got my Natalie Attired limited edition bag, and so I'm going to do a video on that in a minute. So get a twofer today. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.